Hey, everybody, welcome to the trek. Lots going on, right? Yeah. hmm All right. So, how are you? You all right? That's good. You're looking good. All right. Hey, um, click like and follow, Rumblers. Okay. Click like and follow. Facebookers, did you make it over? We're saving $300 by getting off StreamYard and being on Rumble when Rumble can't go to Facebook just yet. We'll get there. But thank you for your courage to come over to Rumble Land, which is not going to hurt you. Really, it's just a lot like Facebook, right? Okay. All righty. I want to thank someone. People keep sending me gifts. All right. The last gift I received was pretty big. It was a Rife machine, a spooky 2, which I don't really know what that means. I don't know how to run it. And so I'm going to give a shout out to anyone who knows how to operate it. I suppose I could go to the old standard of YouTube and say, how do you run this thing? Because there's no operating instructions. So I need to download the instructions and all that. But anyway, I'm excited to get going on that. All right. Okay. Now, I am kind of just guessing at the amount of funds that have poured in for Trisara since we started. I think we're close to $25,000. Yeah, you did that. So, and I want to thank Thomas, Melissa, James, Sonia, or maybe Sonia, not sure, Jackie, Kimberly, George, Linda, Cindy, Rochelle, Kathy, Marguerite, Lisa, Barbara, Dina, Dan, Diane, Marjorie, Christian, Judith, Nancy, Janice, Karen, Marjorie, Lori, Teresa with no H, and Sharon. Thank you all. All right, and so we're going to be spreading that around even tomorrow. I hope. I think we could do some, but maybe we might have to wait till Monday. All right. Let's see. I did an actual update in the house on Telegram. All right. Tressie Trek House. You have to go there because I'm not going to say it here. All right. It's good news. But basically, tomorrow being Easter, the biblical event, and then Monday being the New Year, it isn't going to be exactly as you expect. Let's just say that. I'll say it that way. It's good. It's very good, but you're not going to really see what you hoped you would see just yet. Okay? Next week's going to be a big week. All right. So just accept that it isn't going to look like what you want it to look like just yet. Okay? All right. Doesn't mean that nothing happened. I guarantee you. All right. Okay. Let's see. More good news on the eclipse. I listened to someone sent me this link from Tom Numbers and Sheila Holm. Thank you so much. It was good. It was very good. And it's all good news. There is no terror involved in the eclipse. So don't listen to anybody who wants to tell you that there's anything bad going on. I don't know if I have Telegram up or what the noise is. Okay. All right. Okay. We're not going to do fear. No fear here. All right. Okay. So we're going to put that link up and we'll put it also in the house as soon as we're done with the show. So you can listen to that because it's worth listening to. So is Johnny Enlow on Mondays, the last couple Mondays probably on Elijah Streams. Johnny really knows what's going on. All right. I trust him. All right. And then so we're going to do a Q&A tonight after the trek over on Telegram on the Tressie Trek chat living room. I call it the living room because that's where all the family meets and talks. All right. And then after the Q&A, we're going to leave the chat open for you to enjoy, as long as there's no fear. If there's any posts about fear about the eclipse or anger about the fact that things aren't going to look exactly like you hoped for tomorrow, I could say it in a way that you would understand and you would be happy about it, but I can't. So I'm not going to. But we can't do any of those fear or anger on the page, or we'll just close it. I'm not going to, get upset. I'm just going to close it. We don't have time for that kind of stuff anymore, right? We're too close. All right. All right. So in preparation for the live polling, so people that are new don't know what that was, and there were quite a few. So we did a poll, and there were like 52 or more percent that wanted to do it again because you had been involved the last time. And this time, there were about 40 some, maybe close to 40 some percent who didn't know what it was. So that means you weren't with us back then. And you can go and watch that on Rumble to prepare. I have the self-help, so you can do it on your own, that you can get. I put the link out on the house this morning. And you can also go on Rumble, but that's a group event, see? So it's not as specific or as honed in on your personal situation. Although I spent a lot of time trying to make it as specific and powerful as possible. And a lot of people had a huge release and a huge transformation when we did it. The reason you want to do it right now is you're about to launch and you don't want to misfire. You don't want to be hindered in soaring to your highest destiny because you happen to have a lie still stuck in you. A lie is like a sliver. It's not your fault. I think I just found where the sound is coming from here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, I think I got rid of it. I always try to get rid of everything, but then in the end, there is something that's still up, making noise. All right, I think that's it. All right, so the lies are things like, and it's not your fault, none of it, but it happened to you in childhood. And some of those lies would be example of, I'm not good enough. Someone told you that. Someone treated you like you weren't, that you had no value, that you were unwanted. Like I was told I was a mistake, and unwanted. I was they let me know that I was unwanted, unloved, unprotected. I don't count. I am a mistake. I am bad, and bad things will always happen to me, and it's my fault. Right? It's never your fault because the child is not at fault. It was something that happened to you, and a child always believes that the adults in their life are right, so then they blame themselves. That is going to trip you up for the rest of your life unless you pull that out of you. So I like to say, I've pulled dozens of lies out of myself, and that's why I have overcome, and that's why I can help others because of that, and I have no ill will or unforgiveness towards anyone, as you saw in the dream I had last week about my ex-husband that put me in a sort of psychological prison for a quarter of a century. And when I saw him in the dream, I was affectionate, I was kind, I was loving, and he cried. because he had come. He died 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. Um, he he came back in this visitation to apologize. Wow. Wow. I mean, so he must have gotten the memo of what that I'm about to launch. Okay. And so I just felt like it was time once again, because when you manifest fear, like let's say you buy the latest dose of fear that you hear about the eclipse, if you buy that, that tells you that there's a hook in you from childhood that predisposes you to believe the worst, always believing the worst. Or if you say things like, it's never going to happen, they lied, um, and they're kicking the can, or those kind of comments, that's pessimism, which means you have a lie that you believe that bad will always happen to you, or you're always going to get the short end of the stick. Those kinds of things. Otherwise, you would, because you're awake right now, that's proof that you have the ability to be an optimist because you have spiritual sight. All right. And so without that lie, you will be able to see clearly. Right. So the lie blinds you to everything. It blinds you and it deafens you. So when someone says the truth about that particular situation that you believe a lie about, you cannot see the truth. No matter how much they try and the proof they give you, you will not see it, because it's like this. You can't, it's impossible for you to see the truth about it. You can't hear it. That's why there are so many divorces. That's why there are so many people arguing, because your lie affects my lie and we all cancel each other out. But if we realize that we all have lies that we believe and we need to give each other a chance, and then when you have difficulty in life and that difficulty repeats itself over and over and over, you have to look at the fact that your lie may be the magnet that draws it to keep happening. All right. So that I have pulled about 4 lies in the last 4 months. Every time you have a physical issue, there is a lie attached to it. That's why it's there. You pull that lie and the body will heal itself automatically, instantly. Right. Okay. So I wanted to, this is not just a repeat of the preparation for live pulling party like we did last time. This is different. I want to talk about what you've been through. So you know you're a leader on a very high scale of international influence if your entire life has been just one big stream of trauma. And you actually overcome, and you have a good attitude, and you forgive everybody, but it still keeps happening. And it's like you're a target. You're a target because you are a target of the enemy who wants to, it's like you have this light. Some people call it an aura, and it comes out from you. And the greater your sphere of influence, the further that light goes out from you. When you're born, that thing is beaming. It's like a, it gets your attention. It gets the attention of the enemy. And the enemy goes, whoa, we better get that one. Bam, 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 bam. And they just beat the snot out of you your entire life. And they look for people that have lies embedded in them that they can hook into and they can use them to hurt you. And so then you have the enemy firing at you and friendly fire. We call it friendly fire because it was friends and you thought they would never do that. All right. So we all have that happening. All of us, our whole lives, we have that happening. Some of it we can stop by pulling our own lies, but some of it has to do with their lies. And there's nothing we can do about that. And so we have some decisions to make. Okay. So you don't want to hide the light. And sometimes that's what we do because we're afraid and because we're tired of being beat on. I did it. I did it almost my whole life. I hid it. It's like I've said it before, like you have wings, or let's just call it a coat. You have this coat, and when you open the coat, it goes wah, like light and color, like the coat of many colors. It's like a butterfly. It opens up, and it's visible to everyone, and it scares everyone, and they don't know what to do with it. Okay, and so out of fear of rejection, we pull back, and that's what I did. And so I want to help you open the coat. I want to get you to put it on for one thing. You must put it on if you want to launch. If you don't put it on, you're not going to launch as high. Your sphere of influence that was supposed to be the world will be cut down because you're hindering yourself, right? For fear of what other people think or say, or, it's the tall poppy syndrome. And so the tall poppy has this giant faith and believes that they can do anything because God said so, and because they discovered that they had this beautiful coat and they liked it, and they were just twirling with it when they were a child, and then they got attacked so many times. Like, I remember my older sister said to me one time, "Who do you think you are?" And I was like, pull the coat in. I pulled the coat in. Maybe if I just pull back and don't shine, maybe they won't hurt me. Right. So I gave up my rights, my opinions, my dreams, and my desires for everyone else. I thought that would stop the attacks. I thought that would cause them to love me, and it did the opposite. So I wanted to be easy, like easy to get along with, easy to just cooperate, always cooperate, and just not be any trouble to anyone, And so they wouldn't hurt me. I must give the ship away because I don't count. That was another lie. I am unprotected from the world. I just pulled that one. Because, if you are a target and you're getting beat up all the time, I got beat up all over the world, horrendous suffering. And then you just think it hooks into this lie from childhood, what happened to me at birth and on, that I'm unprotected because if I cry, no one's coming. In fact, I might get more abuse if I cry. So I learned it. And then I must hide my coat, which is my mantle of authority, and my gifts, so I don't shine too bright because it'll draw attention and it'll draw more fire. And so when when my leg got healed a couple months ago, that was the lie. God said, you must wear the coat. And I was afraid, but I chose to listen to him and put the coat on. He said, you honor me by wearing it because I made it just for you, and it only fits you and it looks good on you. So he kind of used a fashion statement with me, which was my language. All right. And so I put it on. He said, don't ever take it off or you're not going to your highest destiny. All right. You have one too. Okay. So I want to give you some scriptures because scriptures are are alive. They're not just text that's written in an old book that's been tampered with. It still has life, and it was the spoken word of God that was spoken into the ear of someone who was listening, and that scribe wrote it down, and it's still just as powerful when it is your specific antidote for this situation that you're going through. It will come out of the book. You can feel it. It's like, ah, that's how you know what truth is. Your spirit has an aha button. All right. And so when truth comes in your ear from anyone in any place, you go, yes. There's a yes inside you, and you should never doubt it. That is the truth right there. No matter what anybody else thinks or says, you don't have to convince them of the truth. Your spirit knows it, and don't back down from it. A true friend is going to honor you when you say, this is what I need to do. I heard, I know. Because they don't know truth for you as far as what your specific spiritual experience that you're going through, your personal life. Only you know for sure. I do have some friends though that when I speak my truth, they'll get God bumps. They'll go like a rush, and they'll go, "Oh, I got a rush on that one." And they're kind of a gauge too. I don't need that gauge, but it's fun when I say it that I know, yep, I heard. Okay. So here's a verse. It's like a proverb, just a general proverb. As much as lies in you, live at peace with all. You do your part, but you can't do theirs. And if you try to do theirs, you downgrade yourself. You can't do their part. Hiding the coat will not help the situation. Demeaning yourself will draw them to do the same to you. That's what I did for decades. I would lower myself and demean myself so that people hopefully would feel more comfortable being around me and want to be with me. And it didn't work. They attacked me worse because I demeaned me, so they did. Didn't work. Okay. And it will also cause doing that will also cause your dreams to be unprotected. You know, you don't reveal your dreams to people until it's time. All right. To accept your calling, your destiny, and your coat is to copyright or trademark them in the spirit realm. You own them when you accept it and wear the coat. That's the only way. It's like you activate it by accepting it and wearing it and not backing down and making excuses for what you've been given. It's not pride. It was given to you. You didn't have anything to do with it. So how can it be pride to accept it and believe it what you have? And so then when you trademark your calling in the spirit, it's not up for grabs anymore. You get to walk in the authority that was given to you in that area and in your calling that was given to you by God. If you don't have the ability to say no and to stand strong and have a strong backbone, you cannot launch properly. You will not survive out there in the world of finance. That's why I'm trying to help everyone get ready now, because this is my expertise. The Bible also says a prophet is not without honor. They have honor, except in their own hometown and among their own people. And most of the time, that's not going to change. Whether you wear the coat or not, it's probably not going to change, and you kind of have to accept it. It comes with the territory. If you have that stature, and it doesn't have to be a prophet, but whatever that expertise is, you're not going to be honored, because familiarity breeds contempt. So they look at you like, you think you're going to change the world, like you're going to have an international impact. Who do you think you are? And then the tall poppy gets pulled back down to the poppy field. Right? The dandelion gets stomped on. You're just an old little weed in a ditch. Who do you think you are? So we have to get to the point where we don't care what they think. We know what we've been given by God, and accept that the territory around you may not change. When you find someone, let's see, I want to read this because it was so perfect the way it came out. I love this. It did not serve you well to hide the coat, but wearing it may not change their behavior towards you, because it's their problem, not yours. It's the lie they believe and see through that causes the problem. And if you've already pulled your lie that keeps you from wearing it, then the rest is theirs. It's their lies that ruin their view of you. You are not responsible for their reaction to your calling and destiny. You are only responsible to accept your destiny yourself. All right. So, with all of that said, you have to guard your heart. You can't get your heart out to everyone. You can't trust everyone going into the future, because you don't know who has lies that are going to not be able to treasure and value your heart. So you tuck it back in until you're sure that these people can not only see the real you, but love you all the more because of its colors. Now that's the statement. To me, as I was writing it, I wish I would have known that years ago. You keep your heart tucked in. I'm so trusting. I'm too trusting. I'm so transparent, so open. But I have learned that you have to hold it in, not in a negative, unhealed way, but a way of wisdom where you can love and trust here, but you can't get that big, beautiful heart out and give it away to people who don't love it and love the coat. You love you for the beauty of the coat and celebrate the coat. Once you get a friend like that, don't let them go. Don't ever let them go, because it's kind of rare. All right. Okay, so Jesus did not entrust himself to the people either, because he knew what was in them. What was in them? Lies that they believed from childhood that were unresolved. So he knew exactly how they would respond to him. See, there's the proof that is not a wrong thing to look them over. Okay? The potential for danger is there because they see through their lie. Okay. Okay, so I had to get to the point where I chose not to care what people thought. I was so hard on myself when I was a teenager. I was like, I hated myself. I would make a checklist of my faults, and every day I would look at them, see how I did, and the harder I tried, the worse I did. I was so uptight. Oh my gosh, I hated life. And I never smiled. But then I realized that all that was required of me was to love people, to love and love myself and love people. And it changed everything. And I no longer held myself to perfection. I held myself to love. All right. And it just, oh, it's such a beautiful place to live. And the thing is, no matter how many people are against me and slander me and attack me, it's almost like I excuse the terminology, but I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I can't win with them. So why try? Once I came to that conclusion that I can just be me because they're not going to like whatever I do, then I can be free. And I don't have to try hard anymore. I can be me. Once you get there, then you can fly the highest. You can shoot out of the cannon when we get to the other side. I mean, you can do that even now. You don't have to wait at all. But it is going to like give us a boost, right? We know that it's going to give us a boost. And but even if it gave you a boost and you've got lies, those lies will tether you to the earth. That's why you want to pull them, right? So in the house, Tressie Trek house, I put all the instructions for what you need to get ready for this party. Now, I don't know when this party is going to be, only because I already scheduled Tuesday for Thomas to come back. And he already advertised it. And so I don't want to mess him up with that. Otherwise, I would do it right away. But why don't you take some time to work on this? And then I'll see, maybe Wednesday we can get it in, because I want to get it in right away and before anything changes, so that you're ready to go, right? But you can do it yourself. Don't forget, you got everything you need to do it yourself. You got this trek, you got the preparation for the live pulling from, go into Rumble, you'll find it easy. And then you've got the actual live pulling Rumble recording, and you can always get this condensed emotional training. It's a condensed version of my big training, right? Okay, so let me just give you some examples of negative emotions, because you're going to need to pick out your 3 top negative emotions. And out of those 3, you're going to take those 3 and figure out which one is the taproot that causes the other 2. Some examples of negative emotions: depression, anger, rejection, abandonment, feeling misunderstood, ashamed, shame, fear. Okay, fear is a big one. Big taproot. Definitely a taproot. So what are you afraid of? You have to get that specific. Fear of potentially rejection, retaliation. You feel unprotected. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Maybe fear of success because then I'll have too much pressure to keep it up. Something like that. I don't know. All right. And then, I did, and then let me just keep going here. Write down your ideal life. And I put all the categories that you want to include, everything on every level of your life. If you had the ability to have your ideal life with no hindrance, financially, emotionally, or physically, what would that look like? And dream as big as you possibly can, because you couldn't possibly dream big enough. Get that ready for the live pulling party. Write a resume of yourself, of your who you are. What is your character like? What are the gifts of the Spirit that you walk in and that you live in? What are your skills? What do people like about you? What do you love? What can you do? What do you want to do? All those things. Write all that down as if it's for maybe for me, and you want to come and work at the ranch, or something out there. Maybe Trump wanted some people to sign up to work in different categories. What would you tell him? How would you sell yourself? Write all that out. Okay. And then write a list of messengers who came to deliver love notes for God to you. And maybe they only delivered one, and maybe they weren't even nice people, but they did successfully deliver one. Write all of those out. Who was it throughout your entire life that said or did something beautiful for you? Starting with grandparents, parents, siblings, neighbors, teachers, and going from there. All right. Okay. And then one of the things that a lot of the people on Telegram or on Facebook are talking about is that this eclipse has to do with getting your heart right with God. And it does. So it has to do with God starting over and coming back to cleanse the earth from evil. And so I would spend some time this week, especially on Easter, if you can, and get alone with God and say, and just listen to your heart. Is there anything within you that you want to repent about? Turn and go the opposite direction. That's what that means. All right. It's not a religious term, it's more of a change your mind about being this way and go that way. Do you live a life of love? Does everything you say and do and think line up with love? What is love? What's it like? Love believes the best. Read 1 Corinthians 13 and you'll read the whole list of criteria. What is love? And then you know how you may have some areas that you need to say, God, I'm sorry about these ways that I have judged others. I have been angry and I've hated this person, or things like that. That is going to hold you back. It will hold you back. You'll get a bigger boost and be able to fly higher if you get these things taken care of. All right. And I wanted to talk about, let's see, where is that? Okay, here it is. All right. So there are 7 things that God hates, that he finds detestable and disgusting. Haughty eyes, being like you're better than someone else. A lying tongue, someone who lies about others. Hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises evil schemes. And feet that are quick to rush into evil. See, a lot of this doesn't apply to you at all. A false witness who pours out lies, and a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. Okay. I don't believe, see, that's the thing. I don't believe in bashing other people on our chat. I don't believe in bashing anyone. I don't care what they've done, unless it's the cabal, because they have sold themselves to the devil. They are full of demons, and we can be against demons. Right? So, all right. So I'm going to read it to you in the Passion Translation. There are 7 things that are an abomination to God: putting others down while considering yourself superior, spreading lies and rumors, and even accepting a rumor about someone when you really don't have proof yet. How quick are we to accept a rumor that is negative about someone? And I'll tell you, in my life, I've had a ton of slander like that. And 95% of everyone who heard a rumor believed it without giving me a chance. Why? Predisposed because of a lie they believe? The Bible also says one side sounds right until you hear the other side. Why do people not live by that? And most of these people were pastors. Yeah. Hurtful. All right. Okay, so let's see. Spilling the blood of innocent people, plotting evil in your heart towards someone else, gloating over doing what is plainly wrong, and spouting lies in false testimony, stirring up strife between friends. So, probably a lot of it does not apply to you. So, that means you're in good standing with God. And, throughout most of religion, we have been taught to believe that God's mad at us, right? That'll tell you right there, he's not. Does that feel good? If you're not doing any of that, he's pretty proud of you. He's happy with you. Okay, so there you have it. And so now you can, you have lots of homework to do to shine up your coat, to get your coat all ready to go and ready to launch. All right. Okay, so we'll see you in 10 minutes over on the Telegram side in the living room chat. All right. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye-bye.